Christian, great to see you again, man. Welcome back to Popternative.
Yeah, isn't this like my fourth or fifth time?
You're
Hey,
getting up there on the leaderboard, man. Like
yeah, man.
absolutely. I gotta
Going
get
from
you a
top
pen or
one.
something.
Oh man, great to see you.
Good to see you too, man. Something like this, Barron's Cove. I mean, the thriller drama, the kidnapping component. When you're kind of like ready to go and going to film this movie, what's kind of going through your mind specifically? Which elements kind of stand out?
Yeah, I mean, it starts off very explosive, the movie. I mean, it's very dark as well. You see, me tying this other kid down to train tracks, and then, as the movie goes on, I get kidnapped. And to stay in these scenes, you really have to put yourself in a headspace for that moment, and you have to really feel, my character is this, he has this tough exterior. He keeps his vulnerability, hidden down inside of him. Um, So I was always thinking, I need to look strong. I need to really get at this guy. And before you're going into these like running scenes or these intense scenes, you got to get your breath going. You got to go, you got to inhale. You got to be ready to, really commit to the scene.
Yep.
So yeah, it was really about just being there, getting
How
there,
how
and
does
there.
it read genre wise? Because I see it as thriller and then it's drama as well, right? But I'm wondering if it read more as a thriller, read more as like an intense drama. Like I'm just wondering.
Yeah, the central themes of this movie are definitely, you know, drama centered. They're
Yes.
composed of these moral, complex topics of systemic failure and, how far a father would go for his child,
Hmm.
attachment theory, even, which is a philosophical thing. Um, and I see the thriller aspect of it as a vessel to communicate these themes
Yeah.
to the audience. It keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time. So you're there, you're taking this information while also including complex topics like the question that kind of rationalizes the whole movie: Are we
Mhm.
defined by the worst thing we've ever done?
Yep.
And that comes up throughout the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You
So I'd
look
say,
at it. Yeah, no, 100%. It's interesting too. I feel like you've kind of worked on a lot of movies and shows that it's kind of like there's a lot going on genre wise. I feel like like, does that happen a lot with projects? Because I think about like Sweet Tooth, I think of The Monkey. Like a lot of these projects are not just one thing, if you think about it.
they're all very different,
Yeah.
and the way that I kind of like mentally go about these journeys, I guess you could call them, these stories. You put yourself in this headspace when you're there, and you really only think about the character. I try not to think about my other projects when I'm
Yeah.
I'm doing these movies, and I only think about my character, and I only think about his headspace. And when I'm offset, I become me again.
Yep.
It's like start to finish,
Yeah.
and you stay in this headspace. But yeah, I mean, Sweet Tooth, this fantasy adventure, Monkey, this horror comedy. It's
Yeah.
it's like you do it, and you have to leave it there in the past. It's like an artifact. It's like archaeological.
Yeah.
That's why I love acting. You get to keep jumping around, and I like jumping around. I jump around a lot.
You can answer this as well with Barron's Cove specifically, but it's because I'm making films now too, so I'm kind of watching films a lot differently now. Like so, for example, like my filmmaker asks you this question, Christian, where we're gonna see, like you mentioned, like the train track scene or like certain scenes that the runtime is like 4 or 5 minutes, and then it cuts to another scene, but
Yeah.
there's a chance that that scene might have taken you like the whole day or a couple of days to film. So I'm wondering when that happens, do like those big scenes, long scenes, do they feel like their own mini movie, mini TV show, or do they feel like a big part of the project?
Long scenes are my favorite things to shoot
Yeah.
ever because it's like the longest period of time where you're in an unbroken state of emotion, and you are fully committed. You can't mess up. You have to be there. You have to be
Yeah.
present. You can't be thinking of other thoughts when you're doing this. You can't just like think of what you had for breakfast. You have to be there, and you have to be there the whole time,
Yeah.
even when you're not doing these long scenes, because otherwise you're just giving an unauthentic performance. But especially in these long scenes, that's where you are completely vulnerable. with your expression, with your emotion, with your physicality. That's where it all comes out. And that's why I love filming them, because you are so committed, you are so there. And I saw some other TV shows, that came out this year. Adolescence for one. And I
Yep.
love how it's all filmed in one shot because you're there, you're committed, you're at the edge of your seat. And we see that in Barron's Cove. Not as long, but 4 to 5 minutes, as you said, there are certain scenes which take that long. And it really jaws you, it keeps you there. And that's the great thriller component to this project.
Are you ever conscious of the audience member watching Barron's Cove while you're making it, given what you just said about the edge of your seat kind of reactions from the audience? Or is that something that happens a little bit more after you wrap?
That's definitely an after wrap thing because when you're there, you're not trying to think of like how the audience is going to react. You're trying to think of, you know, how your character is expressing. And in the long run, when the audience watches it, that's essentially them reacting to it. The way I explain it's a little convoluted, but essentially you're just thinking of how to give the most authentic performance, and anyway that they're gonna see it. So that's not a thing that goes on in your mind when you're acting.
Absolutely. You're part of the film The Monkey, part of, an incredible kind of crop of horror films, and like you said, has comedy components, and a film that's going to be part of, spooky season marathons for years to come. And I'm wondering the one thing that kind of stood out, because we didn't have a chance to talk about it when it came out, but now we do. Was playing two characters like a very hard thing? Like, will that go down as one of the hardest things you've ever had to do in your acting, or was it as not as bad as you thought it was going to be?
Technically, like the technical aspect, definitely the most challenging. I mean, for Sweet Tooth, I had, a whole rig on my head and I had antlers, but this is a whole different story. I have to play two separate people, two completely different emotional profiles, two completely different headspaces, and, completely different wigs, costumes. And usually when we're filming, I would start off as Hal, which is the twin who gets more bullied by Bill, the older brother. And the other half of the day, I would switch to Bill. So essentially, I would definitely say it's the hardest acting I've ever had to do because it's very straightforward when you have to just commit to one person, commit to one character because you fully understand them and you're there, you are them. But playing two people, that's double the work, and having to switch between them was definitely challenging, but I would have never not wanted to do it. I mean, it's the funnest thing I've ever had to do on acting for sure. And it's definitely a feat that I'm very proud of.
Does it make you want to work more in horror movies? I mean, you are going to be in something coming up that was announced recently, but like, that's the best genre right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the fans are loving it. And I love horror. I haven't done too much of it. You could consider Cocaine Bear to be a horror. Yeah, Monkey's definitely a horror. But I would love to do more, maybe just like a campy killer horror movie. Um,
Mhm.
but I'm definitely interested in the genre because I feel that there's just so much good stuff going on right now in that world.
Yeah,
Very strange.
absolutely. Have you had a chance to really soak in the global impact of Sweet Tooth with your family, your friends, your team, and everyone? Because that I feel like was just a roller coaster at some point that you couldn't get off in regards to like
Yeah.
the global kind of impact on that. We've talked about it here and there, but it's like, it's been a while now. So maybe have you been able to really reflect on the popularity of that show from a global perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I heard that it was viewed in over like 60 million households, and that is just crazy. Assuming there's like three people a household, that's like 180 million people. It's crazy, crazy to think about. You can never fully rationalize it. Like it's impossible, literally, because when I'm talking about it, I know the effects and the themes that it's covering, and how different people may or may not, react or think about what they're seeing. But everyone has this different experience, and that's what's great about cinema. You can never see the same movie or TV episode the same way that everyone else will see it. It's impossible.
Absolutely. For sure. And you are a great storyteller, man. And congrats on all your success. And I wish you all the best in future projects as well. And I can't wait for people to check out your performance in Barron's Cove. Christian, always great to chat with you, man. Good to see you again.
Yeah, man, it's been like crazy. I was just talking to you 3 months ago. I mean, when's next, dude?
I know. Next time it's going to be great. All the best, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.